Today we're going to be vibe coding an iOS app, and it's going to be for iPhone and for iPad. I have both of my devices right here, and I'm simply streaming my devices in real time to my computer, and I'm going to show you that you don't even need a computer right now to build an iOS app that you can send to the App Store that is good for iPhone and iPad. And we're going to build these at the same exact time. Let's not waste any time, let's dive in. Okay, so here's my app idea. Let's make an app that lets me take a photo of my face, then I'll answer a question about my personality, and it will find a movie character that looks like me and is like my personality, and then it's going to put my face on the movie cover / movie poster. And it's going to do this automatically using a couple of integrations or APIs, one of which is an AI-powered face swapper, and the other one is a movie database. And we're going to talk about how to integrate those into the app later. We're going to call it Movify. And I want to move through this app in a logical way here. Like, I want to start off getting the structure of the app intact before we add in any integrations. And so this is this prompt that I want to start with. Let's start off with a very minimal onboarding app, right? It's just an onboarding app that says, are you ready to become a movie character? The user will press like a generate button or yes button, and we can change all of these, right? I just want to get like the form right, the user experience. Then it will ask the user to take a photo of self, and once you take it, it will ask you one question, and this should be a fun full screen page, and the question response should be big text. I just picture it in my head. Go with me here. Then it will have a prompt to search for a movie, and then I want to be able to type in a movie name. I'll explain why I'm doing this as we begin to do this, but this will make sense in just a second. That's it. We will make this work in future steps. So this is all I want. Oh yeah, styling, white app with black buttons. Use a cool font. All right. Let's copy this prompt here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the VibeCode app on my phone, and all we have to do is press New App. Now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to press Enter a few times. We're going to paste this in, and we're also just going to paste, this app is called Movify, and here we go. I'm going to create this. And so this prompt is being sent to Claude Code. This is literally running Claude Code on a virtual computer within the VibeCode app that builds mobile apps. That's basically what VibeCode is, with all of these, like this optionality down here. You can add images, audios, haptics, integrations. You can create cloud, logs, environment variables, UI, payments, and much more coming. So that is the VibeCode app. But since we created it on the phone, if we log into the same account on the iPad and we refresh, we're going to see Movify character creator, and these are going to be in perfect sync, right? The app here is building, so we can open up this bottom menu right here. We can open up this bottom menu. One is on light mode, one is on dark mode. These are the same apps. And just like you would if you were using Claude Code on your computer, it is creating a bunch of tasks and it's accomplishing them. And we're building a production-ready app, and we're going to be using a cool API, and we're going to be using this Segmind face swap v4. I'll get into that a little bit more later. Okay, so it looks like the progress has been saved. You can see right here. So now it's done. We can now go to the app. Boom, look at this. Are you ready to become a movie character? Yes. What is your favorite movie? Indiana Jones. Continue. Okay, this is really cool. So what I want to do is I just want to make sure that I understand how the movie database works. So there's a really cool movie database API. If we search this, we can see the movie database, TMDB. And so TMDB is a database that I want to use. And if you've seen my previous video that I just released, we made a whole video on APIs about how if you are building an app, right? If you're building an app and you want to get some sort of external data, right? Your app, right? We want to get movie posters and movies within our app. And so we want this like external data, which is like movie data. We need to use a movie data API. And that's exactly what this database is, TMDB. And when you are using a database, an external database, what you need to do is you need an API key and you need some sort of documentation, right? That's exactly what this is right here. This is instructions on how to use this external source of data. And this external source of data may cost some money. Maybe it costs 20 bucks a month. Maybe it costs every single time that you run it. So like if this external movie database, you can think of almost like IMDb. If you were to go to IMDb, this is very similar. So IMDb is basically TMDB. They're basically the same thing. But every time you look up Indiana Jones in your own application, right, Indiana Jones, you might get charged like a fraction of a cent every time you search for a movie within this TMDB. But you do need to actually pay for it. But what's cool about the VibeCode app is we actually handle all of this for you on the VibeCode app, right? You don't actually need to do any of this if you have a built-in integration. So if we go to API tab, right, all you do is like whenever you're editing your app, if you just pinch, you can leave the app editor view and you can go over to the API tab. If you scroll to data, you can see that we have Apple Maps, crypto market data, open weather API, stock market data, and the movie database, or TMDB. So if we select this and add to prompt, what I want to do is I want to just see, please search the internet and look up this TMDB documentation or database. I'll give you a link in just a second. What I want you to do is I want you to allow me on the last page of the onboarding where I type search for a movie, I want to be able to search for a movie and I want all of the results to pull up for my search, and then I want to be able to click on it and see all of the information about that movie and only ever have 10 results for the movie search pop up at once. Please deeply search the documentation and figure out how to do this correctly. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to TMDB. And by the way, we can see this on the iPad, right? The iPad is the same exact app. We can take a photo, continue, and we're just testing this to just take a look and see what it looks like. And that's the final screen. What I want to do here is I'm just going to copy this really quickly. I'm going to paste this in. Now we're going to run this. And by the way, these are in full sync. So whenever we enter something in on the phone, it automatically starts to update on the iPad. And so what I want to do is I want to be able to just see how this API works. And I want to see what happens when I search for a movie. Then we can have steps that automatically do this. Okay, so it looks like it's done. We can hit refresh on both iPhone and iPad. Let's take a look here. Let's see how this looks. So we'll take a photo, and I just like to go through on my iPhone and iPad at the same time. Might as well make them look good. We need to make this screen a little bit smaller. So all I'm going to do is pinch real quick. I'm going to open up the text field. Now I'm going to press this button right here. This will take a screenshot of like right when I pinch, right? This will just enter this image directly in my phone. Now what we're going to do is we are simply look at this screen. Please make everything smaller so that it doesn't like get all like it doesn't go off screen, like things are not on the screen. And then also my keyboard is covering the input field, so that needs to be fixed. And this is just a small thing that we can just fire off. I'm just going to fire this off right here. Now we can go back to using our app. Yes, boom. Okay, so what happens when we type a movie? Star Wars search. Boom! Look at how fast that is. And we have the images loaded up. As you can see here in the documentation, we see that it has this get images ability, and so it's just able to get all the images for the top 10 movies that show up here. And so I can click on it, I can see the image. The app is updating because we made a change. Now this second screen right after the photo should be fixed. Boom, this screen is much better. And yeah, so this is pretty cool. What happens if we type in, say, a director or something? What if we typed in Christopher Nolan? Okay, so it doesn't show us movies that people were directed by, so you do have to like look it up. You have to look it up by the movie title name right now. We could type in Interstellar, and boom, it pops up right here. This is pretty cool. So we can get all of these movie posters directly in our app. We can probably just type something in right here. I just want to test it on iPad, see what it looks like. It's probably going to look cooler on iPad just because everything, you have more real estate. Yep, that's pretty fire. That's looking good. Okay, so now what I want to do on Interstellar right here, I want to be able to face swap onto any movie poster. And so what I want to do is I'm going to use this Segmind face swap v4. And so I'm actually going to start this prompt right here. So I'm going to pinch right here, I want to create a feature that face swaps the photo that I take during onboarding, and I'm going to be using the following API, and I want to actually face swap me onto the images, like on each movie that shows up in the search. I want there to be a button in the list that says face swap, and when I click that, it should load, and then it should load the movie image except with my face. And so there's a source image and a target image. I'm going to give you some documentation, and I want you to figure out how to use the following API in the right way. I've included the API key in the ENV tab. Please make this work properly. I'm going to explain exactly what's going on here. So I just entered this prompt. Now, earlier, I showed you how to use the API integrations right here, right? These API integrations are built in. Unfortunately, we don't have the Segmind face swap API built into the VibeCode app. So what we need to do is we can actually go to the ENV tab, and we can actually put it in right here directly. So we can add a variable. Now, I've signed up for Segmind face swap v4, and what I need to do is I need to go get an API key. And so you can just find this in the developer section, API keys, and I have found the API key section. So I copied this to my clipboard. I'm going to remove this after this video, and then I always just go Segmind _ API _ key. Now I'm going to just copy this, and I'm going to paste this directly in my phone. We're going to save this right here. Now what we can do is we can select this, and we can add this to the prompt. Now I've referenced the API key that I want to use, but what I also want to use is I want to grab this link right here, which explains how to use it. I'm just going to copy and paste this link because the AI agent can indeed read links. And here we can actually copy this link right here, and we can paste this in. Please make sure this is done correctly. I want this to work. Please go. Okay, so we've entered this prompt. As you can see here, we're going to be editing both the iPad app and the iPhone app. Okay, so it is done. We're going to test it on both iPad and phone. Are you ready to become a movie character? Yes. Let's see if we can just one-shot this. What movie? Indiana Jones. Search. Okay. Let's face swap on this one. Face swap. All right, let's see. Come on, baby. Let's see. Work. It didn't fail right away, so that's a good sign. Most of the errors when you're setting up APIs happen like immediately, like there's just some error of like sending data. But even if it does actually work on the back end, it still has to render the image properly on the front end. This does take, oh! Let's go! Let's go! A search for the lost golden age. It face swapped my character on Indiana Jones. That is crazy. Okay, so what I want to do, please make the face swap button an icon instead of that long face swap button. Please make it like a face icon, still black background and white icon. And then also allow me to save that image to my camera roll. Dude, this is a fun app. All right, let's see. Actually, we can queue up a prompt here. So what I want to have happen now is I like this screen. So the what is your favorite movie genre, that whole screen can just go. We don't need that anymore. Please just get rid of that screen. And so we can fire that off, and that will actually enter the queue. So you can see that you can actually queue up prompts, and you can see this is queued up. So as soon as this one is done, right, we're editing like the button here, this one will fire off, which is really cool. And you can have up to 3 prompts in the queue with Claude Code in the VibeCode app. And while this was loading, I just came up with an idea. So what I want to do is I want to, on this screen right here, right, if you're on this screen, like search for a movie, I want there to be suggestions. So I'm going to say top 50 on ChatGPT. I'm just going to be top 50 most popular movies in the past 20 years. I just want the generic search terms. So not the Star Wars Revenge of the Sith, just Star Wars. And please give me top 50, list them, just the common search term for them. And so we're going to insert these as suggestions below that you can scroll to find. So yeah, this is good. So I'm just going to copy this, and I'm going to be like, hey, also one thing on the search page where I search movies, I want these movies to be listed in a list of all these movies that I can quickly search just by tapping in case the user doesn't know which one. So just list the search term, and I want to be able to just click on it, and then it would search it as if I typed it and press enter. Nothing else should change about the app other than the fact that I can scroll down this list. The search bar should say fixed at the top, and as soon as I press it, the list goes away. The thing that I press gets entered into the search bar as if I typed it in. Now I'm just going to copy these right here. I'm going to copy this. We're going to go back to my phone, paste that in, and run it. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to test this out. It's done. Oh, there we go. So we can just scroll these. So I can just press Iron Man. What the heck? The Iron Man. Ooh, let's do this one. Bing. Oh, wow. That one is disturbing. Let's see if the save to camera roll one works. I'm going to go ahead and go to photos, and it does work indeed. So we can save these to the camera roll. Can you please move the face swap button to the bottom right of that card? And then please make the images bigger in those cards there. I want those images to be bigger, as you can see in this image that I'm about to give you. The images are up in the top left corner. I want them to take up the whole left side of the card. And then please add a border around these cards, make them look better. Also, when I do the face swap, everything's working perfectly. The face swap is indeed working. What I want to have happen is I want the before and after, or the face image that's being used as input and the output to be rendered. So I want everything to be the same, except I also, beneath the face swapped image, I want you to have the image that the user takes to be rendered there as well, so they can save both of them. Okay, so we'll enter that prompt in. Now what I'm going to do is I'm also going to add in this screenshot. So I can just press this screenshot button that's right here. That enters it into the prompt, and boom. This can be given to the Claude Code within the VibeCode app, and now we'll just wait for it to make this change. Okay, it's done. Let's see if we fixed these things. Let's do Harry Potter. Ooh, those cards look good. Let's go. Now let's see what happens when we face swap on this one. Let's go. Save to camera roll. Okay, I'm gonna save this right here. So what I want to do is I want to add something in the onboarding, like at the beginning here. So I saved both of these photos. What I want to do is I want to say, okay, on the initial screen that says, "Are you ready to become a movie character?" make that text slightly smaller. And then I want you to put two images right next to each other. And this is going to have the before photo and after photo. And you're basically going to you're going to show the photo that I take of myself. These are just examples. One that I did of myself, and then one of the final result. And that's what I want to do here. I'm going to give you both of those images now. So now I'm going to enter that prompt in. I'm going to press the image tab. We're going to upload this image. We're also going to upload this image, right? So we have the before and after. I'm going to click on the before. I'm going to add this to prompt. I'm going to say, this is the before image. Back to the image tab. This is the after image. Okay, we'll fire that prompt off right now. And you know what? I think this is a really solid app. And as soon as this prompt is done, I'm going to go ahead and test it on my phone and on iPad. Whoa, what is going on? I think the AI agent is still working, right? We can actually see that maybe it's done. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, for whatever reason, you made the images absolutely massive. These should be small, like not the size of an icon, but a little bit bigger, similar size to the cards that we have on the final screen or whatever. And just put them above the text, not like so I can't see anything else. They're like full size. I do not want that. I want them to be right above that text next to each other in like squares, please. All right, now we'll wait. Oh, there we go. Looks pretty good on iPad. And what I'm going to show you next is the fact that we can make changes on iPhone and iPad. And I'm going to show you this right now because on iPad it can be way bigger. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, can you please make it when it's on iPhone? Please make it twice as big as it is now, those images. And then on iPad, make them 4 times as big. Now we'll send that prompt in. And the point is that we're making one app, and it's going to be compatible with both iPhone and iPad. But you can specify to the agent to make changes where when it's on iPad, it looks a certain way. When it's on iPhone, it looks a different way. And all you have to do is tell Claude Code within the VibeCode app, and it will just do it. Okay, so it is done here. Let's see. Ooh, looks good. And looks good. So we're testing this on both iPhone and iPad. Let's see. So we'll hit yes. We'll take a photo on both. Okay, here on my iPhone, I will do Top Gun. And on here, I will do Twilight. Okay, for Top Gun, let's run it. And for Twilight, let's just see what happens when we run it on Twilight. Okay, it's looking pretty good. I forget that it's face swaps for all of the characters. Maybe I could figure out a way to only do it for one of them, but that's hilarious for the Top Gun one. Oh, what the heck is going on here? Okay, the Twilight one was a little bit weird. I'm pretty sure there was 2 characters on here and it added this like weird thing. I'm not quite sure what's going on here, but you know what? Screw it. This is a pretty good MVP. Let's search for another movie. What's a movie with a good Pulp Fiction? Okay, let's try this one. Oh, what the hell? That is crazy. That is not good, dude. Oh, it does look like me though. That's wild. And it even has the consistent lighting from in the image. That's quite interesting. So we can save it to camera roll. Sure, that'll be fun later. But anyway, yeah, this is the app that we created. And now what I can do, I think I might actually want to add cloud to this before I were to submit it to the App Store, but I'm not sure. But if you ever want to submit your app to the App Store, you can sign in with your Apple ID, right? You can get started. I've already done this, so I'm already logged in on my phone. Oh, back here it said support iPad. I would make sure to turn this on if I want to submit it to iPad. Here for the app icon, I'm just gonna go movie icon. I don't really care much for this because I can upload one later. I want to take some time to generate a bunch of them and choose a really good one. I don't think this matters that much at this stage. You just want to get some icon because in order to submit it, you do need an app icon. So we can submit that right now. And we're going to use this as app icon. We're going to hit next. I understand. And then I've already put in my access token from Expo. So we can actually start this build. And now my app is being sent to the App Store and it is on the way. And so that is the entire process. Now it'll ask me for a verification code in just a second. Once I submit it, it will submit it to Apple and then it will be in review. And they'll review it and whether or not it can go on test flight or not. And that is the entire process. And so in this video, we literally created an iPhone app and an iPad app and we built the whole thing on the phone. The entire thing was on the phone and we submitted it to the App Store. It used 2 APIs. One was built into the VibeCode app and one of them we used an external API and we basically used the ENV tab. And so on the ENV tab, we pasted in our own API key and we're able to use any technology that's out there. Any API or integration that's out there, we can very easily add it. We use the TMDB and Segmind API and that's what we did in this video. And anyway, let me know what I should build in the next video because I'm running out of app ideas and I want to make sure that we help all of you build the app that you want. And so I might just take direct app ideas. I don't want to steal anyone's app idea because I know that might be sacred to you, but something similar to help you get through some of these issues. We have a really talented team downstairs here in San Francisco that we can bring up to get some developer expertise to make sure that you can create any app that you want. So let me know in the comments what I should build. Anyway, much love. Peace.